you're played by Scarlett Johansson.
I mean, how awesome is that?
Okay, Katie, look, to be candid, Scarlett Johansson is hot.
Yes.
And all right, I am genuinely jealous because look, SNL has come after me a bunch of times.
Right.
They don't ever have Tom Cruise play me. How come you get a gorgeous movie star? And like, that is a real compliment that you ought to be pretty psyched with.
Well, I actually was pretty pumped about that. I thought, you know what? Obviously, no, we're going to be the cold open. Like, how is this going to work out? And you wonder who in the world is going to play you, right? And I'll be honest with you, a bingo card of 2024 for Katie Britt, I did not have this on it, right?
I imagine she was more likely to have like, give a rational State of the Union rebuttal. Don't make insane claims. Don't come off as maybe a sociopath. Those might have been on there. But anyway, look, she's having fun with it. Would you be flattered by Scarlett Johansson playing you? Of course you would. And even Ted Cruz is kind of trying to be like a human there. He's joking around. He's taking it in good stride that he was played by Aidy Bryant. By the way, if we could jump ahead, this was Aidy Bryant. This is the segment that he was referring to, and I actually remembered it. Aidy Bryant playing Ted Cruz on vacation in Cancun. Again, he's never really taken responsibility for the fact that he did stuff that led to those sorts of segments being played, but she did do an amazing job. I miss Aidy Bryant on SNL to this day. Please, Aidy, come back to the show for a little bit, maybe guest host or something. But anyway, she's amazingly talented and she did a great version of Ted Cruz. And he is being self-deprecating there. He didn't attack Aidy Bryant for playing him. And she's being sort of, I guess, self-deprecating and implying that this is not a horrible moment for her attempt to become vice president. That this isn't deeply worrying about who she's going to be as a politician going forward. So she's being okay about it.
Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait. Click join now on YouTube.
She goes on to say, we were talking to the kids about all of it and they were like, oh my gosh, Mom. And I said, look, it could have been worse. You have Black Widow. They bring in someone from the Avengers to play me in the cold open. I'm here for it. And I'm sure on some level you are. But then it gets to the actual claims that you made. Like, okay, yeah, they're playing you and they're having fun. Scarlett Johansson's doing a great job and everything. But there is a reason that they needed to cover it. It was because it was truly weird. The insane demonizing you were doing of migrants. Like, that's where it gets to be. And sorry for being a Buzzkillington. It's not fun anymore. It's not SNL anymore. You were doing and saying terrible things. You were advocating for policies intended to harm people. And in some cases, not advocating for policies. She was, remember, one of those who worked on the bipartisan border bill to address what she apparently thinks is such a crisis that her voice drops in register when she talks about it. And yet, because Donald Trump said not to pass the bill, she voted against it. That's not fun. That's not a sketch. That's you playing games with policy and with people's lives for your own political ambitions. That sucks, actually. And maybe that wasn't that didn't come across enough in Scarlett Johansson's thing, but it really does suck. And your continued refusal to take responsibility for the lies that you told. So she says the liberal media isn't interested in the truth. They're interested in bearing the truth about Joe Biden and his border crisis. When all the facts come out, people will see the truth. That is in response to the fact checking that people did about the fact that the case of rape that she talked about, the sex trafficking, was from the George W. Bush era, because she knows what she did. She's lashing out, as all the MAGA people do, at the liberal media. All they did was reveal that you were lying. And you don't like that they revealed that you were lying. And of course, you're on with Ted Cruz, and he's not a serious person, so he's not gonna ask you hard questions about that, about why you made that incredibly weird choice to talk about that case as if it was happening in the United States or with the cartels or under Joe Biden. Super weird. And then look at this. This is just, she gave a really bad performance in the rebuttal. But this statement makes me think that maybe she will be okay on the right, actually. She says, my crime was putting too much passion into issues that I genuinely care about, and they slaughtered me across the airwaves. That's not what your crime was. First of all, you didn't commit a crime. So stop being so overly dramatic. Again, like, you're not Scarlett Johansson. She's the actress. Let her do the drama. You be a real person, maybe. You're not supposed to be acting. Is that I put too much passion into issues I care about? No, your crime was that you blatantly lied about what was going on. And there was some other weird stuff. I don't know why you were performing instead of just giving a speech. You seem like a perfectly normal person outside of the context of that State of the Union rebuttal. And they slaughtered you. They criticized you. And it wasn't just the liberal media that criticized you. Lots of conservatives did because it was a bad performance. And that's what it was. It was a performance rather than a human moment. That's choices that you made, okay? So you can lash out if you want. It doesn't actually solve your problems. And finally, I just want to end with Ted Cruz because like, God damn, there's that guy just, every time I hear him on his little podcast talking about like Scarlett Johansson, she's hot. He just wants like a friend group. He wants like human conversation with people. That's why his podcast has to turn into that. I really do think that something happened with Ted Cruz that ruined him as a young man. But I think there's like a normal dorky guy lurking in there who just wants to talk about stuff, generally about how ceaselessly horny he is. He just wants to have that conversation with people. Because I will remind you that he takes a lot of opportunities on his show to talk about the women he thinks are sexy, not just Scarlett Johansson or whatever, but there was this, if you recall.
I mean, Pete Davidson. All right, how come that dude gets all of these like hot women?
Because of toxic femininity, Senator. That is the evidence that something has gone wrong.
Pete Davidson was dating Kate Beckinsale. I mean, you're talking underworld. You're talking like super hot vampire in black leather trench coat. And you're like, really? The SNL dude? Like, wow.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Beckinsale. Get it right, okay? Put some respect on her name if you're going to be horning out over her on the show with that even creepier, weirder young version of yourself. But anyway, they just desperately want to be cool. They desperately want to be, honestly, they want to be Pete Davidson. They want to be able to talk to a woman and have the woman not be utterly creeped out by it. That's what they want. And I feel for them, okay? I get that would suck if that's who you are. But to lash out at women, toxic femininity. No, they don't want to sleep with you and they do want to sleep with Pete Davidson. Like, have you considered seriously thinking about why? Rather than just making excuses for yourself or blaming women, have you considered thinking about it? I don't know Pete Davidson, so I could be wrong. But my guess is that he's never advocated for women's rights to be stripped away from them. I don't feel like he's made that sort of core to his personality and ideology like both of you two weirdos have. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe constantly talking about how women shouldn't have careers and they should just do whatever men say and like constantly trying to control them is not as sexy as you think it is. Have you considered that? Maybe women like rights and freedom and free will and being able to make choices for themselves. Pete Davidson seems to agree with that. Also, he's actually funny, not just the fake version of funny that passes for comedy on the right. Maybe that sells. I'm just saying, these are just like, I'm spitballing. Maybe there's other reasons, but like, you don't have to ask purely rhetorical questions. You can ask a question and then actually try to answer it. It might be an interesting experience for you.